Mr. Pruitt, am I correct in that?
Yes, sir. That's right.
That's why that was stated to you.
Now, even if I did the way you just described, and as most people need some collateral to get a loan, it still had to be in her name or my name to use it as collateral, a few acres of land, right?
I'm not a banker, but I would think that it would have to be in her name.
Yeah.
To use the land as for collateral, and or yours and her name for collateral. But
It depends on who's getting the loan. Who's getting the loan, it has
With
their
their
name.
name. I work to pay for what I got, and I don't want to get involved in the boat with nobody else.
I'm glad you informed me of that, because I think that was some of the questions with the neighbors that I received phone calls on, was does he not have another option versus a rezone?
Yeah, right.
And that's the reason I made that comment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not dead set on a rezone. Whatever it takes, if that's what she continues to choose to want to do, then I can just get her to set up a modular home out back, whatever it takes to do that, you know.
All right. If there's anything else, I'll open the floor for anybody else. And if there is any comments that you'd like to address, we'll bring you back up to address.
All right. Thank you.
Anyone else here to speak in favor of? Anyone here to speak in opposition of? All right. Yeah.
We have these.
Sure. Just state your name and address for the record, please.
We're Michael and Jennifer Roach. Our address is 3048 Highway 29 North, Danielsville. We own property adjacent to Mr. Logan. Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, we, along with fellow landowners and residents in our community, are concerned about the impact of an ever-growing approval of residential zones within agriculture zones in Madison County, and now possibly within the eye of our own neighborhood. On behalf of those who signed the following petition, which we've given you, we present it to you now. As property owners of the community surrounding Mr. Edward W. Logan, we respectfully submit to the Madison County Board of Commissioners and the Madison County Planning and Zoning Board this position to oppose Mr. Logan's request to rezone his 6-acre lawfully non-conforming parcel from A1 to R1 for the purpose of subdividing the parcel. If the rezone is approved, this parcel could be further divided into 4 parcels, increasing the number of houses in our character area as well as the land use. Our concerns about this rezone request include Madison County Zoning Ordinance Section 7.1.1.17, A1 intense farming permitted uses exemption, which states farm owners who, because of health, financial necessity, or retirement, find it necessary to reduce their farm tract to a single lot containing their principal dwelling, and who intend to continue residing in such dwelling, may retain for themselves a portion of the original tract for such lot containing 2 or more acres, provided the remainder of the tract is liquidated at the same time and in accordance with the land subdivision regulations of the district. This exemption can only be used once per farm owner, and the lot so retained shall continue its zoning classification. Mr. Logan's 6-acre parcel is the result of this exception having already been used to its benefit. Another of our concerns about this rezone request includes Madison County Zoning Ordinance 7.4, R1 Single Family Residential, which states that an R1 zone reflects medium and high density single family character where development would and should occur. We believe the proposed rezone of R1 would not be in the best interest of the surrounding farming community, nor should it occur per the comprehensive plan. Like the land surrounding it, The property of Mr. Loggins is zoned for farming purposes with a character area in the comprehensive plan for rural conservation. Whether the parcels in the community are conforming or non-conforming with current zoning, our way of life remains the same as it has for decades. We are further concerned that an R1 zone does not protect the conservation of natural resources, and our community includes the Bluestone Creek bottom that feeds into the Broad River. An R1 zone in the center of our farming district with rural conservation simply would not match the character set by the comprehensive plan. Each property owner in this community made a conscientious decision to settle in this farming district for its rural character and to escape medium to high density residential developments. We believe an R1 rezone could and would encourage additional requests for higher density zoning in our farming community. We do not harbor animosity toward Mr. Loggins, nor do we oppose careful progressive planning roads in Madison County. But we do want to maintain farming zones which have been laid out in the comprehensive plan. We are deeply concerned for the preservation of the present quality and rural character of our community. We are sympathetic toward Mr. Loggins' health issues, and we hope Madison County Zoning Ordinance 8.5.2.1 be considered as a solution to his needs without disruption to the character of the community per the comprehensive. This exception allows for humanitarian reasons that an additional dwelling unit be located temporarily on the lot in non-residential districts which contain another residential dwelling for an individual who needs to be supervised by and live in close proximity to a family member. We rely on your foresight, wisdom, and integrity to respect and safeguard our interests as your constituents and fellow citizens. We sincerely ask you to honor the zoning ordinances you approved, which relate to this rezone request. And if you determine change would be beneficial to all, please honor those zoning ordinances until such time as they're changed. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else here to speak in opposition? Anyone else here to speak in opposition? Come on forward. State your name and address for the record.
Will Cochran, 476 Old Royston Road. I've been right across the road from her. I'm not here in office against Mr. Loggins. He's been a fine neighbor my whole life. I'll do anything to help him. I'm just in opposition of it going to zoning. If there's a way to do it and keep the house and put another house there, that's fine with me. It's just the zoning change. Because you have the map there, the 20 acres there that's sitting idle. I'm so scared that the guy that has it sitting here waiting for this change to bring in a subdivision or subdivide that 20 acres. But there again, there is no opposition against Mr. Loggins. It's just a zoning change.
I understand. Thank you. Anyone else here to speak in opposition? All right. Mr. Loggins, you have an opportunity if you'd like to rebut any of that or just make any comments to what's been said.
I just have great neighbors and friends, and I wouldn't do anything to disrupt our little community.
All right, thank you, sir. One of the things that I noticed, and I wanted to touch on this a little bit, as stated earlier on the phone with a young lady, right now we're caught up in a zoning topic, right? And most of what you stated was a zoning topic about it being not A1 or not A2 or not ag. Currently, there's 13 parcels beside this gentleman that is legal non-conforming, but they're not intensive ag. Intensive ag today in Madison County is 25 plus acres, which there's 4 of alongside of that, or actually 5 alongside of that meets that qualification. The majority of the neighbors are on 3.75, which is one of the parcels you have, a 4.acre parcel, 2.acre parcel, 1.5 acre, 2.1. So the reason I'm referencing that is if Madison County decided to fix our zoning ordinance today, all those would change to an R1. Just because it's a technicality of what used to be versus what it is now. I'm just stating currently, if you own the 2 acres or the 3.25, you would be an R1 zone. Because an AR zone, the minimum ag lot today is 4 acres. So I just want to stick that out there that it's a technicality. But I do see what you're saying, 100%. With that being said, gentlemen?
Well, I'm sympathetic to the folks that are against this. And I understand where you're coming from with the R1 and concerned about that adjoining someone selling that and doing that. But sort of as Todd's already alluded to, basically all the lots that y'all got are really R1s. And when you look at it, and we have a group that's coming in to look at rezoning type, and so those things will probably turn out to be R1s because they're not going to conform to ARs as we have it now. This is sort of done on a case-by-case basis right now. And so as far as being the District 4 Commissioner, if someone came to me with that large acreage and wanted to split it up into that many, I can tell you, I would vote no for that, because that's not in the area that we would want to have basically a subdivision. What we are talking about here, I think with Mr. Loggins, is an accommodation so that his daughter can move there, have a house there, and can help him with his health issues, which is very similar to what we've already got in that area. And so, with that reasoning, I make a motion to grant the rezone, which both of these would be R1s, correct?
They would be, but before we make that motion, Mike, quick question for the council. Would it be fair to potentially table this vote for about until after March, when AR is reheard, if it's going to be reheard?
Yeah.
Because if AR reverts, to 2 acres, then you still keep your ag area. And there's one other thing that we left out, and it's a potential condition which Commissioner Kirk could place on this R1 that says he can't no longer divide it anymore.
Well, and that was what I was
I
going
just
to do.
was thinking,
I don't know, the issue here is if Mr. Loggins wants to wait until we look at it again, but there's no guarantee that we're going to look and change it and lower the acreage. But, I would make that, if I made the motion, a condition that you can't split. That's the reason I'm saying both of them are R1s and you can't split them. As far as that section. I think it seemed like to me the concern that everybody had was not what Mr. Loggins was going to do, but what potentially a neighbor might do. And that, we're doing basically, when you look at zoning and you look at what we're doing here, there's things that we try to follow, and we try to follow what our ordinance is on. But sometimes we make exceptions, we put conditions on it. And so that's what we would be doing here. So I don't know, how's the proper way to ask it? Should we ask Mr. Loggins if he would want to wait?
Well, that's fine. The chairman's right. You can do either of those things. You can postpone to a date certain that's authorized by your zoning ordinance, or you could approve. It has to be to a date certain. So
has to be a specific day.
Or a specific meeting day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It has to be specific. Well, and this is my concern. Mr. Loggins, how soon are you looking for your daughter to start her?
Nothing is definite. First, I'd like to say I apologize to my whole community for leaving an eyesore on the dirt road. When I sold the 20 acres, it was privately financed to another gentleman who immediately started chicken farming.
Right.
Well, it just wasn't fair. It just didn't pan out. And now my chicken houses, my ex-chicken houses are sitting there dilapidated, falling apart, and it's just an eyesore that I left the community. That wasn't my intention at all, you know. I mean, I've half-assed it for 24 years and kept it going. But I do apologize for the 20 acres sitting there with nothing happening, and
You don't have to
the
apologize.
tornado blow them down, it looks better than it does now.
There's no reason to do that. Oh, but I guess, is this something that if we did table it and move it out of date, that you would?
Yeah, if you wanna put this on hold, that's fine with me, because I'm in no hurry for anything. I wouldn't want this to go through if it's gonna affect my neighbors negatively later on, but the ones with the little tracks with a house on it, if it's gonna affect them negatively later on, then just throw mine out the window, because, you know, it's not like a have-to situation.
Okay.
I agree with everything my neighbors say, you know, we don't wanna disrupt what we got.
Well, Mr. Loggins, you're both in a win-win situation, just to be honest. You're trying to do what's right, and they're just trying to protect the future. And there's no wrong in this, but what the Board of Commissioners do not want to do is, where Commissioner Kirk, I do feel like his heart was in the right place by the motion he was fixing to make. He was right.
Right.
But what we don't want to do is to place R1s surrounded by a bunch of A1s.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of goes against our comprehensive plan as it was stated, even though in a way it's the right thing to do. I would rather hear you table this till a further date and see if our board changes something to where it makes everybody in the room happy.
I asked the question.
But I don't know if that can be.
I'm, as a commissioner, I'm agreeable to table it, but can we come up with a date? And I don't know what the rest of the commissioners, how they're gonna vote this, so that's the other part.
How does it change my taxes? Does anybody know? Will I have to pay more or less?
No, it doesn't change any of that right now.
Well, I'm barely getting going with what I got. Now, we're all neighbors, everybody in this room, we're all neighbors, we live in the same place. None of us wanna see subdivisions coming up left and right, and I certainly don't. Somebody tried to turn that over 20 acres I had into a subdivision, I'd be sitting right here with everybody else, we don't want that, you know.
So if we were to table it, do we have a date that we could set?
Christopher, y'all have it coming back before P and Z in March? Is that right?
If it's tabled here, we wouldn't have to take it back before P and Z.
No.
The AR 2 to 4 question. That's
When is that?
coming up this week, tomorrow, and then the public hearing will be the next meeting.
It comes
So
to y'all.
it'll be at your first BOC meeting in March then, correct?
Right.
Yeah, first Monday in March, that's
What's the date of that?
So we just need to have a definite answer by the last meeting in March.
That's right.
First Monday in March,
Well, the last,
Now,
the last meeting in March.
Last meeting in March.
could this cause a chain reaction where if you approve mine, then next thing you know, there's
That's,
places going up all over?
it's highly probable.
Because I wouldn't want to start that.
well, we would have people asking, and then we would have to justify why we denied that.
So the fastest you could do, Dennis, if you want to go that route, would be to put this on the March 4th agenda and just put it on the agenda after the board's consideration of the amendment of AR from 4 to 2 acre.
Which will be the first meeting in April.
And that way, if that amendment passes, this one would be moved. You could do it
Yeah.
without a rezone.
Now, what you said earlier, if I gave her 4 acres instead of 3, then it could go under the other thing?
No,
Oh,
because you don't have 8 acres, you'd have to have 8 acres to do that.
I'm talking about if I kept 2 and gave her 4, you know.
No, if the AR changes and reverts to 2 acres,
Yeah.
then she can have 3 and you can have 3. They're just both now legally AR zones because they're above 2 acres. Now it's currently 4 and you don't have enough property. So my suggestion would only be to stand behind the table. Now, on that meeting in March, if the Board of Commissioners do not change the AR and leave it at 4 acres, we can pick this back up for your R1 request and deal with it on that day. So that you have 2 options on that day. If it fails at the beginning of the meeting and you're later on, you can still proceed as we are tonight.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're gonna make a motion to table it until what date?
Postpone to the March.
April.
No, March. March, isn't it?
It's, March would be y'all's vote. Do you want to have it?
Well, that's what we're saying, we could do it on the same night.
Yes, as long as you schedule just schedule the text amendment on AR as your first zoning item. Then, Mr. Loggins will be coming back after that one. If that one passes, there's no need, his is fine, it just goes away. If the change in acreage does not pass, then it's still on the agenda a little later on, the same night, and the board can deal with it however they wish to then.
Y'all in charge, whatever you
Well,
say.
I would like to give it a fair shot because it is dangled out there that there may be and may not be a change. And I'd like to give it a fair shot for not only you, your family, and your neighbors in that community.
Yep. What works best for the
Gentlemen, I'll
community is what I
entertain a
want,
motion.
you know.
I make the motion, second motion to table.
I have a motion by Commissioner Kirk to table to the first March meeting and a second by Commissioner Cameron. Any discussion, gentlemen?
Just in way of comment, number one, appreciate the attitude which everybody made this presentation. Thank you very much for that. It makes our job a lot easier. But to answer your question, Mr. Loggins, the potential implications of R1 is what our fear is. And we've talked this, Mr. Pruitt, I don't know that we've got a really definitive answer, but having an R1 there, at least it open or potentially opens the door for somebody to say, hey, he got an R1, so why can't I?
Right,
So
right.
that is the fear for us and for your neighbors. So thank you for offering to take this.
And I had a foolish question too. If it's R1, can you still have goats and chickens?
No, you could not on R1.
No.
Cause I had an acre and a half where I moved from,
Yeah.
on Coast Road or Highway 191, I could tell you what it was on.
That's why if we did go back, then that would make a lot of the smaller lots, which is some of y'all are on, those would be in a AR location rather than what they, you know.
Well, that's my question too, if I wanted to put some goats outside the house, would that be wrong then?
In R1, it would not be allowed.
So, but there's a lot of things to consider in all that.
Yeah.
So we appreciate it very much.
I just want to do what's best for the community. If it means turn me down, throw me out.
Well, all right, I think we got a good compromise.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
So I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion, gentlemen? Commissioner Adams?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen. Now, the rest of you are welcome to hang out with us if you like. Mr. Scott?
Yes, sir. Sheriff Smith is requesting to rezone a portion of her 20.05 acres from A1 to AR to allow split for a family member. To rezone the remaining acreage from A1 to A2 to bring the property into compliance. Property is located at 720.
All right, gentlemen.
720 Bertha Willis Road in Carlton on map 106, parcel 46 in District 4. No one came forward in favor. No one came forward in opposition. The planning and zoning voted 5-1 for approval.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Smith? All right, anybody here to speak in favor of? Anybody here to speak in opposition of? Hearing none, we'll close the floor and bring it back before the board. Gentlemen, will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve as approved by the zoning board.
I I have a motion by Commissioner Kirk, a second by Commissioner May. Any discussion, gentlemen?
There's still a recurring concern about easements and access,
Yes, sir.
particularly a crooked one.
Yeah.
Being access, it's gonna bite somewhere.
Yeah. I got a concern about some of those 30-foot driveways that ain't driveways that we got too.
All right. Any other discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none. Commissioner Chang?
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Ms. Smith? Mr. Scott?
Okay, number 3, Joseph and Lisa Collins are requesting to rezone their 5-acre from A2 to R1 to allow the property to be divided into 2 equal tracts to allow their daughter to reside beside them on the property. Property is located at 3092 Cherokee Road in Comer, map 102, parcel 71, district 4. No one came forward in favor of this request. No one came forward in opposition. Planning and Zoning Commission voted 4-2 for approval.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Collins? You'd like to come forward, or you're happy with that presentation, or you like to add?
That's fine by me. We spoke last month and still feel that way, and as I mentioned last month, there are several tracks in the neighborhood that are smaller tracks, anywhere from .99 directly across the street. His brother, approximately an acre, there's 2.5 directly behind us. Our neighbors all say, hey, if you can do it, that'd be great.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone here else speak in favor of? Anyone here speak in opposition? Hearing none, we'll close the floor, bring it back before the board, and I won't gonna reiterate the very first one, but almost in the same situation.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
So, I know what I would like, to table.
Is timetable an issue for y'all?
No, it's not a table issue.
All right. So we'll make a motion to table this one until that same time. What was
That
it?
same night.
That same night?
Do you understand, ma'am?
Either the first week in March or in April, the first week in April.
Do you understand why we're doing that?
Yes, sir, and that's totally
We're trying to
fine.
keep the conformity in the area.
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right.
But it's not guaranteed now.
I understand that
Okay.
as well.
I just want to make sure you understand that. All right.
Well, I knew this wasn't a guarantee right from the get-go, so.
All right, well, thank you, ma'am.
All right, so I have a motion by Commissioner Kirk to table, second by Commissioner Chandler, to table to the first week in March. Any other discussion, gentlemen? Frank?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am, for being patient, and
I only have the one question. Do I go ahead and keep that rezone sign up still, or go ahead and take it down tomorrow?
please leave it up.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, number 4, Brett Smith is requested to rezone portions of his 47.22 acres from A1 to A2 to allow a split to give to his son. The property is located at 0 M&S Lane in Comer, map 102, parcel 9, district 4. Mr. Brandon Smith spoke in favor of the request. No one came forward in opposition. The Planning and Zoning Commission voted 6-0 for approval.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Smith, is there anything you'd like to add to that, or are you comfortable with that presentation?
That's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Oh, is this rezone for For how many acres are we rezoning?
Yeah, we don't have an exact description. What are you
15
cutting out?
acres,
How many?
15,
16 acres.
15.
Oh, 15 acres.
There's a site plan in the very back page.
Yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
I didn't flip the page over, I apologize. Anyone here speak in opposition? Hearing none, we'll close the floor, bring it back before the board, gentlemen, entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve for the zoning board.
Motion by Commissioner Kirk,
Second motion.
second by Commissioner Chandler. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Commissioner Kirk.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Motion carries.
Number 5, Vincent and Donnie Batiste are requesting to rezone a portion of their 16.97 acres from A2 to AR to allow it to be split and absorbed into their adjoining AR property, to enlarge the parcel to bring it into compliance with zoning regulations. The property is located at 2156 Highway 106 North in Danielsville on map 37, parcel 008 in District 2. No one came forward to speak in favor of this rezone request. Dora Irving was not in opposition to the request, but voiced concerns and had questions regarding the matter, and I think those were heard and explained. The Planning Commission voted 6-0 for approval.
Which is the lot that they were doing this to?
I'm Bonnie Stinty.
Please come up, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you,
So
Mr. Scott.
I bought 2156 with the 16.9 acres. And then the same woman who sold me that offered up the other piece. So I purchased 2202 Highway 106, which was 2.23 acres. And with the thought of moving her in, updating the house as is, and moving her in. When I came in to apply for the permit, I was told it didn't fit the zoning that it had, and there was never a plat on record with the county. So I was gonna have to have the whole thing redone, and they said there's no way it would go R1, and that the easiest way that we could figure out to do this was to take 2 acres from the larger plot and give it to the smaller plot. But now I'm listening to what's going on with Mr. Loggins over here. Is 2+ acres gonna be an agricultural lot?
Potentially, it's up for discussion and a vote in March.
Because literally all I wanna do is improve the house so I can move my mom in. And the 2 acres that we are taking from the larger portion is where there are creeks and springs, and if the larger portion is gonna be sold off for horses, which is what we have on it, you know, that's kind of like the best part, that I'm kind of separating, just so I can meet your zoning requirements so that I can update the house.
Chris, fill us in on,
Why?
yeah, with the house is already existing.
Remember this one myself back here.
And Dora Irvin her complaint was because the surveyor came out and he had put a pin on her property, and I called him, and he's like, I just put that there to mark where my equipment needed to be, it's nothing. And I talked to her and I talked to him.
So it'd be your preference not to do this if you can.
I'm leaning toward it, if you can stay agricultural land, because my mom has chicken.
But being a house already existed, I don't understand how this is.
Yeah.
There may well have been a reason,
Because I came in for permits and was slammed down.
There's a lot of record, right? I mean,
Was somebody living in the dwelling already, or was
But when I bought it, someone was living.
somebody was living in it?
Kendra Carey was living in that house.
And what were you wanting to do to the?
I needed to improve the electrical because it's messed up. I also wanted to put in an HVAC system.
Is there another home on the property?
There is one home on the 2 acres. It's literally a 1-bedroom farmhouse that's been here since 1900. And there is a shop in the back that used to be a welding shop. and then a pole barn on the 2.23 acres.
That never had a plat.
It never had a plat
Never had a
filed with the
plat.
county. Never had a
That's
plat
the
filed with
problem.
the county.
Yeah.
It was the
It's
plat.
not showing that 2 acres cut out, it's showing it being part of the 16.97. Once you platted it in.
No, it's not part of the 16.97,
Well, then
there's
I
a
reckon
whole
it's wrong,
nother
'cause
plat that
It's
has
an
the
individual tax parcel.
So this is another one of those parcels that was deeded but without a plan.
correct.
That's what it was. It was split by deed, and there wasn't a plat to go along with it. And so she had to come back to have the other
So, I
section.
mean, because we also own that little triangle.
Right.
Because the section that was cut out would have never been
So council with it.
gone through without it being
Existing
rezoned.
house and it's on a deeded plan, what position does that put us in?
Well, so that 2.0 acres is showing, that's the site plan, so that's what this rezone's about, would be to allow that to happen, I guess.
Well, this,
So here's my question, if
okay,
the
this is the part
2.27,
that we bought separate from all of this. And we were told we had to carve this out to bring this up to 4 acres.
so there's a house already existing on a deeded, on that deeded 2.27, but doesn't have a plat with it.
That's what I was saying a minute ago, that 2 acres was carved out by you later.
No, I did not carve it out.
Well,
I
that's what
purchased
she's
it.
asking.
Oh, the second 2 acres, the 2 acres to add to the front 2 acres, yes.
That's right, that's
But
why,
it's not been carved out yet. That's what the zoning is here.
correct, that's why I'm saying that you're here. We're
Okay.
asking, why
Oh,
are
I'm
you here?
sorry.
It wasn't pre-existing.
No,
So she
that,
bought
the
the
second,
2.27 acres,
right.
and what's the obstacle to do, I mean, there's already a structure there. What's the obstacle to pulling permits to just renovate?
It's not platted, it's a deed, and it changed hands since 1994.
But I'm looking on the tax map, and it is showing it as a separate tax parcel. Isn't this what we're talking about right here?
But I guess there's never been a plat recorded with the county. I couldn't find one, Tracy couldn't find
It's
one.
somewhere, somebody had a
Tanya
deed of
couldn't find
conveyance
one.
and it was sold, so it's, I think we recognized it somewhere as a,
It's wrong.
Oh, okay, so this is one
This is one
they
that
proved
we're
that they
talking
shouldn't have, okay. Okay.
Is a different solution to allow a plat to be created to represent this deed? Is that too backwards to?
about. This is one that you had talked about where they had, it's done by deed. It wasn't platted,
Right.
and now it's got to be platted, but we haven't approved the plat, it's not conforming.
Right, it's not conforming now.
But you don't even want to.
Again,
From mine.
subject to possible change on March 4th.
But you don't really even want it. You just done it to meet the
I just did it
qualifications.
to
So
get
if we
it
do
done
nothing,
as fast as I could to get my mom in there, because literally, I had all my trades lined up, I came in here to get the permits, and I was told, nope, can't do it.
Christopher, help me here. If we do nothing, she's allowed to have that residence there, and you can remodel that residence, and you can actually put another residence on that 16 acres as long as it's your primary residence.
But the 2 acre one is the one that I need to improve, the one that's on the 16 acres.
But you don't need it cut out. You're cutting it out because
It's been cut out by deed, but not by plat. And to have a permit, you have to have a plat to pull, not a deed.
To permit to build or permit to renovate?
Pull a permit. Because the improvements attached to.
Yeah, I was told to make improvements on the property, had to bring it up to current zoning.
Like she was. We gotta figure it out.
What structures are on each of these? So is there a structure on the 2.27?
Yes, there are
Is there a
3
structure on the 2.0?
No, there are creeks and springs,
And is there a structure on the remaining acres?
yes,
Just one?
one. Well, one and some, I was told 2 outbuildings, but really they're takeout buildings, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, okay. So there's one residence. Why couldn't?
Each piece of land has 1 residence on it.
Oh, all 3 pieces?
No, sorry, not the 2 acres. It's
You got one on the
so there's only
2.27 and one on the 16.
Right, there's one on the
There's only 2
2.27.
residents.
Yes,
It's currently zoned A2, or ADUs allowed in A2?
If you have,
zoning.
Boy, y'all are creative.
We have two, we got, yeah, two lots of records according to our tax board, whether they were created correctly or not. That's,
Well, you're mixing terminology there. We have two tax parcels, we only have one lot of record.
That's where the issue comes with the permit.
Well, how do we fix the tax office does not determine lots of record?
Tax office made,
the surveyor that did, who did that survey?
Tommy Paul.
That's a site plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, a registered land surveyor did it.
Yes.
Can we do a corrected plat
That's my.
and not subdivide that extra parcel in?
Yeah, just allow her to create a plat that matches the deed for that 2.27 acres.
Well,
And not change my zoning?
So if you want to do that for everyone who had a deed and not a plat, sure. But that's creating a carve out to your definition of lot of record, to say if you did an illegal split by deed in the past, we're not gonna rubber stamp it.
and that's where this one comes in, we couldn't approve a plat. That's
I got you, I'm with you. It seems convoluted, but I'm with you.
So just, I'm gonna try to take it right to the point of the vote. So today, you would like, you're here to ask for a rezone on the 2 acres only.
Correct.
It would join it to the 2.27.
Just to bring it to
Correct.
zoning, the current zoning
And
of the 4 acre.
knowing that it may change in March, would you like to withdraw or table this until the March agenda to see if it clears itself up so you do not change your zone?
Would I,
Either way, that plat's still not a plat of record, it's not a deed plat. Right? It's not a plat.
But she could then
But I can
have.
have- I can have them resubmit
That lot of
that,
record,
right?
because if you get into 2 acres.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm trying to kill multiple birds.
No, I get it, that's why I brought this up.
I'm glad you did.
Can you wait that long?
Well, that was the other thing, will it be approved that evening, like it sounded like Mr. Loggins?
Well,
One way or the other.
Potentially,
Worst case scenario, you come back and ask for what you're asking for tonight.
okay,
We're taking.
Well, no, I would suggest it be postponed to March 4th, just like Mr. Loggins, yeah. And then
If it fails.
if the minimum acreage does not change, then just like Mr. Loggins, it'll be later on that same agenda, same night,
You'll hear it as
or
stated.
deal with it then.
okay. I guess my question is like, I'm trying to line up trades again, so do I have to wait till somebody gives me, will I be able to line up my trades after that meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay, then I can wait till March 4th.
The convoluted aspect comes from everything being recorded by deed without a company plan.
All right. But we're all clear, correct? Derek, you good?
Scratching my head.
The crazier thing is the plat that's on record, is the opposite side of the street.
For those of y'all who've been paying attention for the last several months, this is why we've got consultants looking at our stuff.
Did you get a motion on that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to,
Oh, we're still in the public hearing, aren't we?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, I'm finished,
All right.
So I should
Anybody
go
else
now?
here to speak in favor of?
Thank you for the explanation, sorry for the confusion.
Anybody here to speak in opposition of? Hearing none, we'll close before bring it back before the board. Gentlemen, I entertain a motion.
Is it, okay, yes, I move we postpone this to that same date in March.
And I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Chandler, second by Commissioner Kirk. Any discussion, gentlemen? All right.
Yes.
Dawson?
Yeah. So,
Yes.
Yes, yes, sir, yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, we are, but it seems to have some salt. We created it.
Number 6, George and Cheryl Slater are requested to rezone a portion of their 14.16 acres from A2 to AR to allow for a plat correction. The property is located at 3036 Rogers Mill Road in Danielville on map 26, parcel 29, in District 1. No one came forward to speak in favor of, no one came forward to speak in opposition. The planning and zoning voted 6-0 for approval.
Thank you, sir. Mr. and Ms. Slayton? Are you comfortable with that presentation, or would you like to add anything to it?
No, that's fine with me.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Anyone here else to speak in favor of? Anyone here to speak in opposition? Hearing none, we'll close, bring it back before the board, entertain a motion, gentlemen.
Make a motion to be approved as presented.
Second motion.
Motion by Commissioner Adams, second by Commissioner Chandler. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Commissioner Adams on your
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
carry, young lady.
Number 7, Daniel Frazier is requested to rezone his 3.03 acres from A2 to AR to allow a portion of adjoining property to be absorbed into this tract to bring the property into compliance for a plat correction. The property is located at 2905 Rogers Mill Road in Danielsville, map 26, parcel 29-02 in District 1. No one came forward to speak for. No one came forward to speak in opposition. Planning and zoning voted 6-0, recommend approval.
The names are the same. Sorry, sir. It's the same on both plans. Thank you, sir.
Just so the board knows, this is another one that was recorded by deed.
Okay.
Trying to fix that.
I don't have the plat on this, guys. It looks like we got the wrong plat stapled to it. It's okay. Mr. Frazier?
Yes.
Because I don't have the actual map up here for us to look at, or at least mine don't, mine Frank. Yes, that's Miss Slayton's right there.
Track is 2-3.
Oh, it's across the road, okay.
Yes, cross road, right.
It's the same.
Gosh, that's sorry.
It's the same as last, Ms. Clayton.
I remember this now. So this is one, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the one where you did not have the adequate acreage. It was split by deed, recorded during the moratorium, and then found out that it needed to be 4 acres at the time to meet the AR.
And I had no idea when I bought it,
Yes.
because I got a DA loan on it and everything else, so. Trying to push the lender off on up so they don't try to hold me in default for the terms. Well, it came in at 3.99 at that point in time.
All right. Anything you'd like to add to the presentation, or?
No, I just, yeah, nothing. I mean, I wish it could just stay the 3.03 and they didn't have to give an anchor to me from across the street, but whatever it has to be, has to be.
I got a lot of phone calls on this one. All right, you're good. Anyone else here to speak in favor of? Anyone here to speak in opposition? Hearing none, close the floor, bring it back before the board, and entertain a motion. Mike, I don't know if we will entertain a motion yet before we have discussion because of what this is, because it's real similar to what we've done tonight.
I think we need to go through this, because I believe this is a little bit different, because the plat will be divided by public road.
No.
Yeah, but
Roads don't divide plats.
No, the property will be divided by
Oh,
public
true.
road.
Yes, sir.
And we're gonna be creating a non-conforming piece of property and we can't do that.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So the circumstances here, I mean, it's splitting hairs, but it's different.
Yes, sir.
When there's a right of way, we actually can consider the acreage that's in that, consider the land that's in that right of way as part of that tract for the minimum acreage site of the lots. What you're saying, when you do that, it comes out 3.99. Is that what you're
No,
saying?
it comes out 4 point. So, 4.03.
No, y'all are saying do the total.
So the Rogers Mill right of way is 80 feet. So we actually can consider 40 feet of that as part of that property. If you do that, does it become
Not
compliant?
with a road, like county road, if there was an easement going through it, it'd be different.
So no, we're not talking of, it's not a right-of-way issue. It's an issue of this 3.03 acres was sold by deed, during the moratorium without a recorded plat. And now, as it's come to light, 3.03 is not enough. Let's see, what's the current zoning of this?
AR.
AR.
There's 2 steps.
So, yeah. So it's actually, well, no, the current on both of, the current on both of them is A2. Mm-hmm.
So during the moratorium, instead of going through a rezone to AR, I'm sorry, Mike, state that, but instead of going through a rezone for an AR, which was allowed with, maximum of 3.99, they split it by deed, and when they split it by deed, they also created a 3-acre acre.
So this one's not as simple as the ones we've done before because it would be a 2-step. If he wanted to wait, then he would have to withdraw, I'm thinking out loud, have to withdraw this one, wait, and then potentially be able to apply to rezone the 3.03 acres to AR. Assuming you drop your minimum acreage on March 4th. But it would not be something it still would be illegal because it's A2 now. That's what makes it different from the ones that came before.
Wow. Backstory on this. A little bit more.
Here is like the bar exam all over again.
Do I?
How many times did it take you to pass that one?
So, inevitably.
What? But you didn't write.
So, just for the board's information, inevitably, this rezone can consist of an A2 to an AR for 3.03 acres in March. The family at that time would not have to give up the 9.6 acres. The reason the family is offering another 9.6 acres is to come into conformity with the 4-acre minimum of AR.
It's 1 acre.
It's just 1 acre.
I mean, yeah, the 0.97 is what I thought it was, 3.99 total or something like that. Because you originally wasn't going to give the 1 acre.
The 1 acre doesn't exist now.
That's right, the 1 acre don't exist right now, it's 3.03.
Right.
But in order for him to get the rezone that was needed, it was gonna be an AR, and it was a 4-acre minimum, and y'all were willing to give up the extra acreage with the building on it, just to meet our zoning ordinance.
Right.
So what I'm asking is, should we be looking at just taking this from a non-conforming A2 to an AR on March 4th, if AR goes back to 2 acres? And then you get to keep your extra 1 acre, and he is getting his wishes to stay in conformity of an ag rezone. That's what you're asking.
Except that on March 4th, if it passes, then Mr. Frazier has to file a new application to rezone the 3.03 from A2 to AR.
Which we could reimburse him for this application because we changed it. It wouldn't cost him any more money. It's just a time delay. But that would correct the original request from you, Mr. Frazier, and it would also satisfy the family in the selling aspect. Am I right?
That's right, but he's afraid You tell him that, and he's afraid that his loan company is gonna get word of this.
They don't even have the right parcel right now.
Okay.
And
Would
he's
you like for
afraid
us
they're
to
gonna
move
pull his
forward
loan.
tonight? Is that your request to move forward tonight as it stands?
As it stands, yeah.
Mr. Frazier?
I'm okay
Both
with
of
that.
you? All right, gentlemen. Floor is closed. I'll entertain a motion.
And we're gonna be putting .89 acres on the other side of the road.
Right. But that's how our ordinance, I mean, roads don't create parcels in and of themselves, only you create parcels. So that's consistent with everything else we do.
Yeah, it won't be a standalone acreage.
I make a motion this be approved. I mean, we wore this can out, kicking it down the road tonight. That this be approved as stated.
I have a motion by Commissioner Adams,
I'll second that.
a second by Commissioner Kirk. Any other discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Commissioner Shannon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 All right, motion carries. And I know y'all been waiting, and I appreciate your patience. Y'all been on the books forever. But thank you.
All right, number 8. Leonard Hill is requesting to rezone her 26.5 acres from A1 to A2 to allow property to be split into 2 equal tracts. The property is located at 193 Prospect Road in Cobb, map 28, parcel 120 in District 3. There was no one to speak in favor of or no one in opposition. Planning and zoning voted 6-0 for approval.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Hill,
Yeah,
is there anything you would like to add to that, or are you comfortable with that presentation?
I'm comfortable with it, yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else here to speak in favor of? Anyone here to speak in opposition of? Hearing none, we'll close the floor, bring it back before the board. Gentlemen, will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that this request be approved.
A motion by Commissioner May,
Second motion.
second by Commissioner Chandler. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Commissioner May.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Y'all have a great night.
Number 9, Chris and Ashley Sayers are requested to rezone their 6.55 acres from A1 to AR to allow a second home on the property as an accessory dwelling unit for a family member and bring the property into compliance with zoning regulations. The property is located at 2570 Adams Clark Road in Commerce, map 13, parcel 63, District 1. There was no one to speak in favor of, there was no one to speak in opposition. Planning and zoning voted 6-0 to recommend approval.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Mr. and Ms. Sayer,
Yes, sir.
is there anything you'd like to add to that, or are you comfortable with the presentation?
I'm comfortable.
Thank you. Anyone here to speak in favor of? Anyone here to speak in opposition? Hearing none, we'll close the floor, gentlemen, and entertain a motion.
Make a motion to be approved as presented.
Motion by Commissioner Adams.
Second.
Second by Commissioner May. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none. Commissioner Kirk.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Motion carries, sir.
Items 10 and 11 were taken in one vote. Katie Edelwine is requesting to rezone her 7.9 acres from A1 to AR to allow an equal land swap to be made with her adjoining property for required road frontage. The property is located at 414 Snow Farm Road in Hull, on map 17, parcel 152 in District 1. She's also requesting to rezone 5-acre portion of her 41.28 acres from A1 to AR to allow split to give to her son. The remaining 36.28 acres will stay in A1 zone. The property is located at 284 Snow Farm Road in Hull on map 17, parcel 77, District 1. And this is one that has been on the books since November. There was no one that came forward to speak in favor of, or no one for opposition. The planning and zoning voted 6-0 to recommend approval.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Sailor. Anyone else here to speak in favor of? Anyone here to speak in opposition of? Hearing none, close the floor, bring it back before the board. And gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to be approved as presented.
So item 10 and 11.
Yes, I'm sorry, items 10 and 11 taken up in one motion. I have a motion to approve items 10 and 11.
Second motion.
Second by Commissioner Chandler. Any discussion, gentlemen? Discussion, Christopher, this was postponed from November due to
Not having enough road frontage,
and that has been corrected.
and that's been corrected in the latter part
All
of
right,
this motion.
thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, with that being said, any other discussion? Commissioner Dodd?
Yes.
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 It passes, Ms. Adelon.
Number 12, Greg Vaughn, applicant for the Gene Cole Estate. David Cole is requesting to rezone 27.29 and 39.15 acres tracts from A1 to A2. The property is located at 0 New Haven Church Road in Danielsville, Marsh, map 52, parcel 004 and 004-01 in District 1. No one came forward in favor of, and no one came forward in opposition to. The planning and zoning voted 6-0 to recommend approval.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Vaughn,
Yes.
anything you'd like to add to that, or are you comfortable with that presentation?
Pretty much is how it was, like that. I'm buying it, and, I've got 7 children, so, I'm moving them out there, so.
I just want to reread that. So you're requesting to rezone 27.29 and 39.15 from A1 to A2. Okay.
Yes, sir. And what it is I'm buying the whole piece, but,
Separate by the road.
the road goes right through the middle of it.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else here to speak in favor of? Anyone here to speak in opposition of? Hearing none, we'll close the floor. We'll bring it back before the board. Gentlemen, I entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that this be approved as stated.
Second motion.
Motion by Commissioner Adams, second by Commissioner Chandler. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none. Commissioner Adams?
Yes.
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 Motion carries, sir.
Thank you.
That's in District, I think District 1.
Yeah, I think it's.
I think that's a mid thing. I mean, I'm agreeable to it. That's not.
I was not saying like that.
You in District 4, or either 2 or 4. Yeah.
Maybe District 1.
Just vote for whoever.
Yeah. He's taking over your territory.
I didn't do it right in there. I didn't do it. I just wanted to make sure I hadn't got senile.
You're correct.
Number 13, Thomas E. Flowers is requesting to rezone his 15 acres He is requested to rezone a portion of his property from A1 to AR to allow a split for his daughter, and the other portion from A1 to A2 to bring the property in compliance with zoning regulations. The property is located at 672 Wind Lake Road in Como, map 080, parcel 52 in District 4. No one came forward to speak in favor. No one came forward to speak in opposition. Planning and zoning voted 6-0 to recommend approval.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Mr. Flowers?
Yes, sir.
Anything you'd like to add to it, or are you comfortable?
I'm comfortable with that. We just was wondering about it was told we was gonna tell a 60-foot right of way.
An easement. Do you remember this from last time? Y'all were gonna find out if we
There's
could
actually
use
an
the
easement.
easement that is there, or if we had to make the easement that we have on the proposed.
If an easement goes down the edge of my property, it would reach the back property. If I don't know, I tell a 60-foot easement go all the way around the edge of my property to get to 10 acres in the back.
Coming around. Yeah, there you go.
They were saying maybe we could use
Like Tommy had listed an easement on this site plan, but there is an easement that runs along the side of the property. So we were kind of in limbo as to, can we use the existing easement?
not have to cut out a 60-foot right away from the road to the back of the property.
But if they use the existing easement, it'll serve two residences,
They have to be taken and brought up.
and it's not in the same immediate family?
No.
Okay. Yeah. So then the reason you have to have this extra easement that's shown here is because if you use that existing one, it's gonna have to be taken to the right of way.
Because we're not related to
Because
it?
you're not related.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, if y'all wanna build a road bed.
Negative.
I'm not gonna tell everybody how to spend their money, but that's where we went.
Okay.
In the future, thank you, sir.
So that will not be an easement we're talking about here, that will be part of that property.
No, they're correct.
It'll be a road.
In the, Ms. Payne, in the future, try to make a mental note that if we have those kind of easements adjoining, to make sure they put us a copy of that in there, so we can see the verbiage on it also. Because sometimes it may read a certain way, that it's in his name, he put up a gate, you know, and had them built their houses. We don't want to get into that. I'd like to see it in the future.
Yeah,
But thank
the
you.
proposed area here that's kind of cut out, that is the proposed easement that,
Okay.
Tommy did.
It's essentially a flag staff right after a hurricane like Laura.
All right, anyone else here to speak in favor of? Anyone here to speak in opposition? Hearing none, we'll close the floor, bring it back before the board, gentlemen, entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve.
Second motion.
Motion by Commissioner Kirk, second by Commissioner Chandler. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Commissioner Chandler.
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Now, what do we do moving forward?
So Christopher,
Do we have to
What do we do moving
record this survey, finish our survey, and then
Make sure you get the plat report.
Record the plat within 6 months.
Okay, tomorrow.
That'll work too. That'll work too.
I don't want anybody to change their mind.
Yeah, well, I don't know what you have planned.
Hey, look, I hadn't seen you in a long time, Thomas, but if you don't record that plat, I'm coming to see you.
Okay.
Just come on in.
I'm just kidding.
They're trying to come in and take over because the other one's already building next to me. So they're trying to squeeze me out, give me up what I got now.
I hear you, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Jim. See you, brother.
go ahead, Mr. Scott.
All right, number 14 is consider a withdrawal according to, Mr. Hall, Franklin Hall, applicant for his nephew Corey Hall, did not show up for the public hearing. Although 14.3.8.2, got some disagreement as to how that reads and how it should be administered, so that's on the planning and zoning agenda for tomorrow night for discussion to try to straighten that out, because we've got some other like that. But anyway, number 14 is at this point is a withdrawal, because he did not show up for the second public hearing.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Number 15, Gary Harvin, applicant for Hensley Wood LLC, Trip Strickland, is requesting to rezone his 6.22 acres. He is requesting to rezone a portion of the property from A2 to R1 with an existing home to split to sell, and the other portion from A2 to AR to retain. The property is located at 1405 Madison Street in Danielsville on map 67, parcel 13 in District 2. No one came forward to speak in favor of this rezone request. Kyle Hendrick was not in opposition to the request, but voiced concerns and had questions regarding the matter. Those questions were answered. The Planning and Zoning Commission voted 5-0 with one abstaining to recommend approval by the board.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Harmon, are you good with that?
Couldn't have said it better.
Simple.
So, just so I understand, because I thought I heard it different than the way it's written. The R1 is an existing home and you're gonna split to retain it?
No, he's gonna sell
Oh, so it's written wrong here.
yeah, she had the notes wrong, she had it flipped on what they were retaining to sell, so the total parcel is 6.2 acres. For us to be able to sell the home, we couldn't do an AR, our only option was R1 on it, so, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
But they are gonna retain, it looks like 4.7 acres is what they'll end up retaining, that will stay AR to be conforming.
So with that being,
Ralph Sanders, it's Ralph Sanders' house. So it's Ken Day.
Okay.
yeah. So with that being said, after hearing what we heard earlier tonight, do you want to potentially hold this over until March 1st meeting to where you will be going from an A2 to an A?
Only if you're gonna deny it.
Huh?
Only if you're gonna deny it.
Only if I'm going to deny it.
Otherwise.
Well, the only reason I say that is that way it would keep the area uniform if the vote goes to reduce AR.
I mean, it's close to the city limits, like it was almost close enough for us to be able to talk to a neighbor to annex in.
Because the proximity
right across the road. Yeah, I mean, we're really
Where
close.
it's located at, that's close.
Yeah, and, touching city limits across the road.
Yeah. Because Kyle's acre is probably much more than an acre and a half, so
What?
the neighbor, Kyle Hendrick, he's probably not.
Yeah, I think they're what the AR used to be, closer to 1.5, 2 acres, yeah. So everything around us is kind of similar, the only thing is we just don't have that same color on the zoning map currently, so.
The city limit stops at Hope Thompson.
It does, I think there's, one other, or 2 parcels between us, there's a large parcel that goes all the way to Hope Thompson.
The city limits, one point is, the school drive is the closest one. Right here.
So across the road is right there.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. All right, well, I mean, we can move forward, just like you asked.
What's your name?
All right, anyone else here to speak in favor of it?
Like I say,
Yes, sir.
if you end up bringing AR down to 2 acres, this is an acre and a half, so AR's not gonna come into play with that anyway.
I didn't know what he wanted to bring it down to.
Well, if we did that, we would end up having to redo the plat to bring it to 2 acres. I mean, it's,
Oh, I thought you said they were retaining 4.07.
the 4.7 they'll retain, which will be AR.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, the only thing that we would benefit from
I
is,
apologize.
yeah, we'd have to change that tract to 2 acres, resubmit as AR, yeah.
I heard you wrong. I thought you said 4.07. I was gonna say that's 2.2. You can.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. No one here to speak in opposition. No one here to speak in favor. We'll close the floor and bring it back before the board and entertain a motion. Bill?
This rezone request be approved this position.
Motion by Commissioner Channel, second by Commissioner Kurt. Any discussion? Hearing none?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
All right, that wraps up our rezones for tonight. Consider contract and proposal with GTAC for the Tax Commissioner's Office. Gentlemen, we spoke about this, a few months ago. Went back, and this was where we were talking about getting a contract for service versus not a contract. Mike, I think you're aware of this, Tax Commissioner Dalton, fell ill today. He was gonna be here, and he asked me to present it back to you guys because it's more of a written proposal, not necessarily a contract, but it would save the county, a significant amount of money each year. Plus, it would open an opportunity for this computer system to talk to the property valuation computer system and potentially to the planning and zoning system in the future. So,
Yeah, no, this is fine, I looked at it, and I think it has everything you need for a contract, it can be terminated by either party with 30 days notice, so.
with that being said, gentlemen, if you're comfortable, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Chandler, second by Commissioner Kurt. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none. Frank?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I'm writing them down, and I still get confused who got it. I'm still, I apologize. Lamar, there you go, buddy. 5-0, it passes. Consider approving the 2024 beer and wine license for CVS Pharmacy. At this time, everything has been met, so it's just a formality to approve.
Case to approve.
Right. Motion by Commissioner Chandler, second by Commissioner May. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none. Commissioner Kurt?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Motion carries. Discuss beer and wine license for Food Mart on Highway 29. No action will be taken until February 26th. Just be aware of it. If you have any questions, please contact Lacey Baker. Now, consider camper permit extension for Mr. Robert Hunter. Robert Hunter.
Yes, sir.
Gentlemen, in your packet, you have some copies. Print the picture.
Yes, it's in their packet,
Okay.
but it's not on the screen.
Okay.
They come in later, but everybody should have to see it on their packet.
All right. Mr., I guess before we start, is it Hunter? Because there's two names on there, Hunter and Thompson.
Yes, sir. My first name is Robert, my middle name is Hunter, last name is Thompson.
Oh, so you go by, okay. All right, so, Mr. Thompson, could you give us an update on where you're at and what you're doing and what's going on with this?
Sure.
Please come up before the mic, because I have to state your name right here, sir.
So I'm building a house in Isla, or near it. I'm doing self-pay, doing it all myself. I ended up, we were delayed about 9 months up front, waiting on the metal for the house, and then we waited another probably 4 or 5 months to get concrete. So it was a long process up front, and maybe I was premature getting the permits. And then I ended up getting sick, which delayed me a few more months, and now we're back on track. I'm about 85–90% done, I would say. I think you'd probably agree. So
can you please tell us what kind of an extension you're looking for?
I was just gonna do maybe a 6-month extension. I don't have that much longer on the house, but just for any unforeseen possibilities.
So it's past the inspections.
He is up to the stage, we came out Friday, he has a couple of things to do, small items to address as far as putting permanent power on the home. And then it'll just be a matter of finishing touches and floor covering, and he'll be done. So, and he is doing all the work himself, and everything, looks good so far.
Okay. Mr. Thompson.
You all have any particular recommendation on the extension?
I have no objection to a 6-month extension. I think that'll give me plenty of time to, complete everything. And,
The reason, I want to set I want to set a precedence that we can't follow in the future.
Okay.
And we normally give 6 months, come back with a 6 months extension.
Okay.
And then at worst case scenario, we have extended another 6 months, but it looks like on this, you're more than a year and a half out.
well, his permit was issued, his camper permit was issued after
After the building.
the building was started, so well after the building was started. His actual
Okay.
building permit was well before.
I see it now.
I was making the 2-hour commute every day to build.
I
That's
see
when
it
we
now, sir.
decided to do the RV thing, so.
Clearly. All right. I have no other questions, board. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion, gentlemen.
Move this 6 months extension be granted.
Second.
All right. I have a motion by Commissioner Chandler, second by Commissioner Kirk. Any other discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none. Commissioner Doster.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate
your time. I'll see you this week.
All right. Urgent matters? Not to my knowledge.
Yes.
There's plenty, but there's not.
This is trade.
Exactly.
Can I make one comment? I'll make one comment before we.
Yes, sir.
If I could. I don't know how we do this, but, and if we can even do this, but is there any way that we can make sure that a plat is recorded every time we?
Conversation.
We've had several conversations about it, and where Katie Cross's office, the county clerk's office, if it gets submitted by deed, they have to record it. And then it goes to Robin's office, and my understanding from Robin's office is once it's been submitted to Katie, they have to put it in the system, is my understanding. We have no idea about it and plan.
Well, can we, is there no way we can set up where somebody triggers it and know about it? I mean, we don't have a system now, but can we set up something? Because, you know, my son got the same situation.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know it until they went down there to mother-in-law to get Cuba and found out, because nobody, see, this is one of my questions is, we need to stress that down here. Even though we may not have control of it, it needs to be stressed. These folks need to get this plat recorded, or they're gonna have to be in trouble later on.
And we've instituted 2.5 years ago. It was within a month or two of y'all appointing me to the planning and zoning, where we actually have the checklist where if they come into our offices, we require them to make sure the taxes are paid, that it doesn't breach CUVA, but we can't make them check this us back.
Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, see, this is the thing, nobody down there at all said, it was not on any list that was given or anything, that you need to record this plat. I mean, we could have.
After the rezone?
Yeah.
Get within, what is it, 6 months?
I mean, it seems like to me that we could at least have down there in that office, somebody that says, when they go over and say, look, this is something that is sort of outside, but once this rezone is, if it's approved, then you need to have the plat, at least make them aware of it. Have a piece of paper that says, this is something they need to do.
We're
We're talking about two different things.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We're on two different.
I was thinking.
I think you was asking more about how to be able to keep up with, how to track when they record a deed. You're asking now how to.
No,
track
this is
how
a
to
plat.
get a rezone.
This is a plat.
Yeah, plat, no, it's in the packet that they signed, that they read, it's all handed to them.
Okay. Well,
Well, do we, I guess what the question Brian is trying to ask is, does somebody in P and Z verify prior to it getting up here that it's a recorded deed? That it's, I mean, if not, then.
This is my understanding, and again, with the electronic filing system that the clerk of courts has now,
Yeah.
you can fill out a piece of paperwork on the other side of the country, and shoot it over, and when it comes through, that, I forget the form name, see, whatever the form that they send in, that over 69, whatever, you know, whatever that form is, there's a box that says.
You file in
There's a box that says you leave it blank, or you put in like the parcel number. And if there's not a parcel number, I think, you know, I don't know how many they get. I mean, I don't know if they get 10 or 1,000, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's my understanding that if that is not, they have the right to reject that if it's not appropriate. Now, I'm not saying they got the manpower to do so. I'm just saying, that's how I think the law or the process reads. I shouldn't say law. It's my understanding that's how the process reads. And that they have the right to reject that. However, in the course of an 8-hour day, if you're getting 300, you know, where do they fall through the cracks, and people don't understand that. You know, you don't have the surveyor walking in like they used to, and, you know, filing something right at the courthouse like they used to. It's all
just to make
electronic.
sure I'm understanding.
I'm not really talking about the deed, I'm talking about the plat.
Recording the plat, that's in the packet that they receive, that they have 6 months to do it, and then we also tag it.
Well,
And then if they
okay.
haven't done it within 6 months.
Well, I
we
looked
issue
for
a
that
letter.
in the, what Brad had, but I couldn't find it, so maybe I just missed it or whatever. But I think we need to make sure we got emphasis on that. I know we can't
Are you
control
talking
it.
about when somebody comes in and says, I want to rezone 4 acres of this 10-acre parcel to AR, or 4 acres of this 50-acre parcel to AR, but then if you don't record a plat within 6 months, that rezone goes away?
Well, I'm talking about the situation where all of a sudden, the plat wasn't recorded for whatever reason, because my son is a great pharmacist, but he doesn't know real estate real well and what's going on. So they didn't have the plat recorded. So they go down and talk to the appraisers, go down there to redo the CUBA for the land for my mother-in-law, who gave him the land for that. And he learns that there is no plat recorded. There's a deed recorded.
Was there a rezone?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think you're talking about what I said. So the way we're gonna fix that, I hope, is we're gonna do what I said for 20 years, which is get rid of this nonsense of considering rezones without site plans drawn by a surveyor.
Okay, well, he had a site plan drawn by the surveyor.
That's simple.
So then he just has to bring it recorded
Yeah,
the next day.
no, it just didn't get recorded.
It's irrelevant. I mean, it's irrelevant. If you do not, if the responsibility is on the applicant to come and file it, and they got 6 months. If they forget, they forget. We don't have a way to go back and track, did you file it?
That's right.
Because they had 6 months to do it in. You wouldn't know when to look unless you take everything that's 6 months and 1 day old and just go down to the office and say,
We
well,
haven't
all
sent
these
it
recorded.
5 months, so we
I don't
sent a
think-
letter to remind us.
But you know, that, if nobody though goes, but if nobody.
How do you track a parcel when you're given a 6-month window to
Yeah,
record a plat?
but for afternoon before it comes in here, somebody could walk from somewhere in this courthouse down to the assessor's office and ask to see this map with this plat, and if it's not recorded or deeded, then it goes on the shelf. I mean, is that too simple?
I think we're on all different topics. Derek's referring to the state's website, that any attorney can file a deed on a state website that we don't never know about.
Yeah, but at
He's
some
talking
point,
about-
it's got to
it's
be
all
assigned to tax
It's
parcels.
all.
Well, I can tell you, I looked at the state website, because I went down there right after we had this meeting, and I said, how can we stop, not plats, but deeds being referenced without us knowing? And she said, there's no way possible, because it's done through the state website. The only buck stop that we could use is if, once it reaches Robin's office, if Robin will flag it right there, and then notify P&Z that, hey, I got a deed come in, and there's no plat, P&Z, you need to know about this.
Yes, sir.
That's your stopgap.
That would be a way to do it.
What you're saying is the clerk of court has the option.
My understanding is that there's not a tax parcel identified there, which had already been created if you're just selling one house to another. If it's not, and it's got to create a tax parcel, it can be set aside, and and double check. I guess that's my understanding, rejected or flagged, I may have the wrong terminology, but that's my understanding. It's not has to be automatic. Now, from a work product standpoint, like I said, you know,
It's easier for them just to do that.
well, you just get busy. I mean, and you got somebody calling, where's my tag, you know, I need to close on my loan. I mean, you got all that too. I'm not trying to be, you know, sympathetic. But then again, like I said, when it goes from there, if it gets flagged, you know, whether it's a call to Christopher or call to the tax, to Robin's office, like, don't create that ID, we got a problem. Because you can have 100 different people, you know, divide up Aunt Sally's assets and say, you get an acre, you get an acre, you get an acre, you get an acre, and next thing you know, you have 100 deed references that may not have nothing to do with conformance with zoning, but it comes through.
Yeah, right. We got that.
That's true. Do anything with the
There we go.
the parcel.
And then,
Right. But
then
I'm
if
sorry.
And it puts us in the position that we've been in tonight.
right.
Yeah.
And then if a plat's not recorded, then you see what, that occurred, what happens with that. And then, but I don't see how these folks haven't been in banking. If the plat ain't recorded, they can't get a loan on it, but a lot of these folks ain't getting loans, so that.
Well, that's actually Christopher's stopgap today.
Yeah.
So if they come in to pull permits, the one thing that we do have on them is no, we're not gonna issue a permit because you recorded a deed.
Don't have a plat.
Now you gotta go get a plat.
But then that creates the same situation we
Correct.
see that comes not. Yeah. So I was just trying to figure out, look, my question, and I know I don't want to keep on all night, but my question is, so there is no easy way to correct it? Unless we get a whole lot of people.
Just do what Mike says.
Yeah, there you
do what
go.
Mike says.
All right,
I
gentlemen,
think that
executive
is a
session.
stopgap for all three.
Yeah, executive session, discuss real estate acquisition, personal matter, potential litigation, sir.
Not all your life.
Thank you. Mr. Dawson.
Understood.